Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's episode of Orwell's Minutemen. My name is Lexington. I'm joined today by Concord.
Hello.
And today we are going to be talking about Twitter. For those of you who don't know what Twitter is a social media platform that allows you to send out small snippets of 140 characters. That's 140 letters and spaces and punctuation. That of just small bits of information about your day, or stuff that's going on, and it's grown very popular over the past few years. But it seems as if that's starting to come to an end, and that's sort of the premise of today's episode. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about Twitter and the causes of Twitter's collapse, right?
Yep. Now, Twitter, one of the reasons Twitter has become so popular is because anything that you post on Twitter is 100% public. Anyone can see it. And the idea behind Twitter is that then users will follow people who they like, which is why celebrities have thousands of followers.
Yes.
So that way, every time Jaden Smith tweets out, how can we prove that mirrors are real if our eyes aren't real, every one of his followers can see it.
It's a real tweet.
Yes, he actually did tweet that.
It's a real tweet.
If you're ever looking for a good laugh, just go on to Jaden Smith's Twitter feed and have a gander. It's comic gold.
So, the causes of this of Twitter's decline would be these censorship laws.
Yes, Twitter used to pride itself on being a bastion of free speech.
Yes.
Anyone could post anything and anyone could see it. But that's changed recently. That's changed due to a number of reasons. But first and foremost, I believe, is because of their new Trust and Safety Council.
The Trust and Safety Council is sort of a police force.
It's the Ministry of Truth.
Yeah.
On Twitter.
On Twitter, and they're primarily composed of left-leaning organizations, such as Feminist Frequency.
Yeah, there are a lot of left-leaning organizations on there. There are also a lot of organizations on there who actually try to crack down on bullying and such.
Yeah, anti-bullying organizations are on there, but something like Feminist Frequency, Anita Sarkeesian doesn't really have a place.
This is the woman who appeared before the UN talking about how there needs to be international action taken against people saying mean things on the internet.
And so these left-leaning organizations, they have input on Twitter's policy regarding perceived abuse.
And we got into this a little bit in one of our previous episodes when we were talking about how on Twitter you can report someone for harassment simply because they voice an opinion you disagree with.
Yes, this is true. We showed the screenshot that we will probably show again right about now.
Yeah.
Of this option that you get when you when you report someone for harassment. You can indeed report someone for having a different opinion than you. And this stems from a lot of people believing that a difference of opinion is offensive.
Yes. We've seen this. We've explored this already with the chalk. It's a Trump 2016 that psychologically damaged a bunch of college students.
And we see this effect actually manifesting as policies within Twitter. And so it's censorship policies like these that are starting to drive away large swaths of the Twitter community.
Yeah, Twitter is paying a hefty price for their new policies. You've got their stock information over there, right?
I do. According to the New York Stock Exchange, Twitter has 1 year ago they were at 69 points according to the New York Stock Exchange, and now they are at 17 points in a single year. And we will display this information for you to see, and you can just see. Although they do have a few bumps.
Well, obviously,
going up.
There's going to be fluctuations. That's how economics
work.
work.
But overall, you can just see the decline. They're having large amounts of difficulty trying to control what is happening to their stock, and this is largely in part due to the fact that nearly half. Of Twitter's senior leaders have left. And we're not quite sure why, but we do know that some of them had, disagreements in the direction that Twitter was going. And the direction that Twitter is going can be it's pretty clear where they're going based on these censorship policies.
And it's not just their leaders. A lot of prominent users have been driven away as well.
Adam Baldwin, who is a prominent actor. He's
if you've seen Independence Day, Full Metal Jacket, the most brilliant television show to ever be devised outside of Battlestar Galactica, Firefly,
you know that.
You know Adam Baldwin. Adam Baldwin.
Also Joss Whedon, excuse me.
Joss Whedon, the director of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, director of The Avengers and its sequel. Joss Whedon has done a lot. He was also the director of Firefly.
Yeah.
He was driven away as well.
And a large portion of their followers, well, they followed him.
Yes,
they left as well because of the censorship that they were experiencing, because they tend to be more right-leaning. Yes. When in their tweets. And we're going to go ahead. I should be showing something on the screen right about now.
The article.
Yeah, about, Adam Baldwin talking about how Anita Sarkeesian's place on this Trust and Safety Council, where, I disagree with the existence of the Trust and Safety Council, whereas he disagrees with Anita's position.
And if you guys don't remember who Anita Sarkeesian is, we brought her up briefly before. Anita Sarkeesian is a prominent feminist who creates a series of videos that's supposed to call out sexism in video games, which doesn't sound too bad. That actually sounds like a positive thing, until you watch her videos and realize that 95% of the information she uses is incorrect, the assertions she makes about the games are completely unfounded, and she cherry picks little pieces of these games to use to make claims about the wider game industry.
I could cherry pick all day long, but we're a more intelligent form of media than that feminist frequency.
She's also a very skilled sophist.
Yeah.
If you haven't played these games, if you don't know much about the game industry and you just listen to her talk, the stuff she says sounds completely plausible.
But as soon as you play the game,
and as soon as you start to think about it.
Oh well, yeah. As soon as you start thinking, but if you're like me, I've played the games that she talks about, and she doesn't. Her claims are unfounded.
Now, Anita Sarkeesian also. She has been the target of a great deal of hate over her videos. Now, she always goes on and on about the death threats and the rape threats that she's received. And yes, there are some of those that has happened, but she has made a lot of money going around talking about how she gets abused online all the time, about how she fears for her life because of angry gamers on the internet. And when you really start to examine her claims, you realize that they aren't near as severe as she makes them out to be.
No, they aren't.
She'll talk about how I receive hundreds of death threats. Well, you'll ask her to produce some of these, and she'll produce like 3.
Yeah.
So, yes, she is receiving these threats, but not nearly to the same extent that she makes out. And she also is more than happy to call constructive criticism, or just criticism at all, harassment.
Yes.
So when we have someone like this, when we have a professional victim like Anita Sarkeesian on this Trust and Safety Council, you know that certain things are going to be misconstrued.
Extremely misconstrued. And, what is it she said? The day-to-day grind of you suck?
So Anita Sarkeesian and another female game dev, Zoe Quinn, appeared before the United Nations to talk about online harassment. And she was talking about how, it's not just the death threats, it's the daily grind of you suck, you're a liar, and I mean, calling someone a liar when they are is not harassment.
It's not, and she is. Like, the information that she spews on her videos are factually incorrect.
Yes.
And she asserts them to be true. That's the definition of a liar.
Yes.
And therefore, stating that you are a liar is not harassment. But,
and also, telling someone they suck is not a crime.
It's not.
Telling someone they suck is not even harassment, I don't think. I'm sure there are people out there who would disagree, and that's fine. But no, I don't think that's harassment. I've been told I suck many a time. Mm-hmm. Most of the time in jest, but not always.
So I think we've sort of veered a little bit off track. Back
Yeah.
to Twitter. So she's a part of this Trust and Safety Council that proposes these policies of censorship. Well, sort of enforces them as well. I'm not entirely sure. All I know is that this Trust and Safety Council has their hands in the
They shape the policy.
they shape the policy. I'm not entirely sure that they hold any power enforcing them.
I don't see how they could.
think they
That's
do.
up to Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter has to enforce, but these people are the ones who are crafting these policies.
But one of their methods of enforcement, we've talked about in a previous video, is shadow banning, and shadow
Another
banning.
very Orwellian term.
Yeah.
Make
Extremely.
you an unperson.
Shadow banning, as we spoke about in a previous video, is an invisible tag that is added to posts that removes those posts from the feeds of those that follow them. Wow.
So you can still post, but no one will see it.
No one will see it because Twitter adds the invisible tag of shadow ban. We don't know if that's the actual tag. That's what we've...
No,
but,
that's what it's come to be known as.
And so... Then we have to come and discuss about, is this illegal?
No, it's not.
It's not. This is Twitter's platform, and they can do whatever they want with it. I mean, so long as but shadow banning and this Trust and Safety Council they're not illegal. However, that does not make them moral.
No, it's wrong. It's wrong, and well, the free market is telling them so.
The fact that their stock is in such a drastic decline. That's a huge decline for 1 year.
Yes.
And that means that the market is essentially saying the direction you are going is not a good one. Just undo what you have done, and but they refuse.
They won't.
They won't undo it.
They won't. And I think that they honestly believe that what they're doing is right.
Mm-hmm.
They do all this in the name of anti-bullying, anti-harassment, and I think that's actually what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
The only problem is when you try to wipe out hate speech and you try to wipe out harassment and bullying, you're also wiping out free speech.
Yeah.
Those things are inextricable. They are one and the same.
Mm-hmm. Precisely. And one method of trying to combat these bullies is the idea of getting rid of anonymity on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And this is so for those of you that don't know what internet anonymity is, I'm not sure if I have to explain this, but
I know of at least one old man who listens to our podcasts who might not know what
internet anonymity is when you are on the internet, no one knows who you are, and therefore there is no repercussions to what you say.
Anonymity is a very powerful tool. It allows me to espouse my opinions without attaching my name to them. It also allows me to hurt people without having my name attached. It's a sword and a shield.
Those two things go hand in hand, and you cannot remove one without removing the other.
No.
And so anonymity on the internet is a very contentious issue because it does allow people to bully other people
Without repercussions.
without repercussions, of course. But it also allows for the ability for you to express yourself without fear of someone personally attacking you.
Yes. I can post anything I want without fear of any harm coming to me because somebody disagrees with my opinions.
An anonymous debate on the internet is probably one of the most pure forms of debate because the other side cannot attack you based on your appearance, your history.
Oh, they still do though.
Oh, well, they try.
I mean, they'll still say like, "Yo, I bet you live in your mother's basement, and I bet you're fat."
I mean, yeah, but
Yeah,
they're unfounded.
Well, no, yeah, I mean, that's the point where it's just like disengaged.
Yeah.
There's no point.
Yeah. So the reason why anonymity is so important is because it allows for those sort of,
Truly honest conversations.
Yeah. And it's the same reason why we have secret ballots in democracies. That's why it's the
Yes.
most successful system, because no one else knows who you voted for. You can lie and say you voted for someone else to avoid ridicule.
Yes.
No one will ever know who you voted for. And that's why that's why it exists, so that way you're not persecuted based on, what you believe, who you believe should be president.
I remember like back in elementary school when we were doing like student government elections, Yeah, after voting, be like, "Who'd you vote for? Who'd you vote for?
Yeah.
Who'd you vote for?" Like, you idiots.
Yeah. On the flip side, though, it does the flip side of anonymity is that it does allow for expression without fear, which leads to the creation of tough guy syndrome, and spam, and poison pen letter, which is the idea that you can say whatever the heck you want, and no one will be able to come after you for it. You can go ahead and spew all kinds of anti-Semitic or just racist claims, and just you might not even believe in those things, right?
That's where we get trolls.
That's trolls.
Trolling is an internet practice where you go and you espouse opinions that you don't hold just to rile people up.
And isn't trolling by the Glasgow police? Didn't we talk about that last week?
Yep. The Glasgow police, apparently trolling is a criminal offense.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So you can't remove the con without removing the pro. And the pro is extremely important.
It's the most important. The ability to have truly honest conversations is, I think, one of the greatest strengths of the internet.
Yeah.
And, yeah, you're going to get people who abuse that power. You're going to get trolls. You're going to get harassers. But, oh well,
Yeah.
is the way I look at it. You'll hear people say, "Don't feed the trolls," and yeah, that's entirely right. If you ignore a troll, they go away because they feed off of people's reactions, right?
That's their whole point for posting is to get a reaction out of you, a negative reaction.
They want to start arguments.
Yeah.
They want to see people get worked up. I honestly don't understand why people find that thrilling, but they do.
Yeah. Well, that hasn't stopped the regressive left from trying to get rid of anonymity, correct?
Nope. There was on Kickstarter a while ago a movement to start this website called Social Autopsy. Now, Social Autopsy, I think, was created with the purest of intentions. I think these people honestly wanted to try to put an end to cyberbullying and cyber harassment. Basically, what a Social Autopsy is a website where if I receive harassment, if I receive mean tweets or whatever, I can basically copy those out, create an account for the abuser on Social Autopsy, and then post all of their crap on Social Autopsy with either their profile, or if I have their name and like their place of employment, I can attach all of that.
It's essentially doxing. And for
Yes.
those of you who don't know what doxing is, it's it's releasing the private information of an individual on the internet with the intent of abuse towards it. And doxing isn't illegal. It's highly frowned upon.
Yes.
Because it's terrible. You can ruin someone's life with it. And a rather extreme, I don't even think extreme, just prominent usage of doxing was Laughing Witch.
No, Laughing
towards
Witch.
Thunderfoot, and we're not going to go into that.
No,
You can
YouTuber
look it up.
Thunderfoot.
Yeah, you can look it up. There's tons of information on it out there. But if you just don't know what doxing is, that's a very good example of how it could, not only how it could hurt someone, but how it could also backfire.
Taking it a step further, there's also swatting.
Oh, man.
Which is when an anonymous user will report someone's name and address to the police and make some outrageous claim to basically get a SWAT team sent to their house.
Generally, it's used towards streamers. And for the streaming is when you are showing yourself doing something
time.
live, in real time, doing something on the internet. And so what happens is these people send an anonymous tip to the police, and the SWAT shows up during the live stream and arrests these people, and people find it amusing.
Now that is illegal.
That is extremely illegal.
But it relies on anonymity.
Yeah.
So that's the dark side of anonymity. The fact that swatting can occur. But back to Social Autopsy. Not even mentioning the irony that these people want to combat cyberbullying with more cyberbullying.
Also, the irony that people who create these profiles for other people are anonymous.
Yes. So I can post things to Social Autopsy and no one will know it's me. But it's a very powerful weapon that can have real-world consequences in that it is incredibly simple to fabricate, offensive posts or abusive posts from someone's account. You can use an application known as Photoshop. You can take someone's
use
account.
Microsoft Paint.
Probably. But it's even as simple as I can go on a comment that someone has made. I can right-click, go inspect element. It pulls up the HTML file for this post. I can delete the original comment and put in whatever I want in its place. And now I can take that out and I can put it on Social Autopsy.
Yeah, and what that does is it shows an instance of that revision. It doesn't actually change that person's tweet. If someone else were to go look at that tweet, it would remain the same. It just changes it on your screen, but that allows you to take a screenshot and submit it to Social Autopsy.
And as more and more employers are, before they hire someone, they'll go on the internet and they'll search them, and they find this Social Autopsy account and they find all these fake tweets. Somebody could make you unemployable. Someone could really cripple your economic aspects in the future. So by trying to limit cyberbullying, they essentially created nothing but a very powerful tool to produce more cyberbullying. Now, it is also important to note that the project was scrapped for whatever reason. I'm not entirely sure.
Well, they say they're going to make a comeback, but, that remains to be seen.
Yeah, it failed. But I doubt this is the last we've seen of Social Autopsy or sites like it.
So this brings up the argument that anonymity, I think, is an important right for us to maintain, but that brings up the argument that when should we compromise anonymity in order to protect people online?
Because, it is true that cyberbullying has devastating effects for some people. I personally don't understand why or how. I mean, look, I was physically bullied. I was verbally bullied all throughout middle school, but I handled it. I got the best of my bullies. And maybe that's why, because I put up with it for real, face to face. Maybe that's, I don't know. But I know this does actually have real world consequences, and that is unfortunate.
I agree with you. I personally don't understand it. I mean, I get hurled online abuse towards me all the time in the various places of the internet in which I dwell, but these people don't know who I am. I mean, what they're saying about me, they have no idea who I am, and so why would I take what they say so personally?
Yeah, precisely. I say, well, I support this candidate, and they say, well, you're ugly. Now, obviously, that's a very benign example. Of course, there are examples where people are personally attacked by people they know, by classmates and such. It's driven some people to suicide, and that really is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But sites like Social Autopsy and trying to censor free speech is not the way to go about solving this problem.
Yeah, so I'm assuming then the answer to the question, should we compromise the individual right of anonymity for these people that are offended, your answer is no.
No. Personally, I think it all comes down to parenting. Now, I'm no psychologist. This is just an average guy conjecture. Raise your kids to have thick skin. That's my advice. Raise your kids to be tough. To be strong.
There are some people that say that thick skin is victim blaming.
Well, those people are wrong. Like, what does that even mean?
It means that, instead of, attacking or trying to remedy the problem of the person that's attacking, you're telling the person that's being attacked to just get over it.
Well, they should.
Yeah.
Okay,
I agree.
Okay, because, like I said, I have been bullied ruthlessly in the past. Did I go cry about it? No! I stood up for myself. I fought back, and I hit back so hard that they never bothered me again.
I have a personal, story of something like that as well.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps that's why I'm not affected by it either.
I mean, we've been forged in the crucibles of the public school system.
And so I think we can agree that this is a slippery slope.
Yeah, and you it's hard to not come across anything like a jerk when you say people will be able to just get over it.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, honestly, there are always going to be bullies. whether they're on the internet or they're in real life. The only thing that you can do is prepare yourself and prepare people you care about to handle them.
And so that brings up the point of that you brought up earlier, where how is social autopsy fighting? So how are they fighting bullying? Well, it seems with more bullying. This when you remove the anonymity of this person, it can hurt them, because all of a sudden their political beliefs are now for the their anonymity is gone, and so now their bosses know exactly who or where they fall on the political spectrum.
Yeah, talking about a specific case where somebody could be reported for expressing their political beliefs, because we've seen that to some people, saying things that they don't like with regards to politics is psychologically damaging.
And so it seems as if they're trying to solve harm that is occurring by incurring more harm.
Yes.
That's terrible.
It's a terrible idea. Luckily it's been scrapped. We've got to be on the lookout for more things like this. And if anyone out there is trying to find a solution to cyberbullying, cyber harassment, more power to you, but you've got to think about the ramifications of what you're doing, because there will always be unintended consequences. And it's something we've always got to be thinking about.
And that's exactly this. In fact, the social autopsy thing is in the same vein as the anti-bullying bylaw in Canada that we talked about last week. Good intentions, but the outcome is not good. No. It can be abused. It can and will be abused if it comes to pass.
Certainly. And
so it's these sort of things that we find, these policies that we find when we talk about Twitter. And ultimately, it is the belief of us and a large amount of people that this is what is leading to the decline of Twitter.
Yes.
Because they're driving people away while simultaneously failing to recruit more people to Twitter.
Nobody wants to join up on a platform that claims to be a bastion of free speech when your voice can be squashed simply because a group of people on a panel disagree with you.
I mean, isn't this the platform that was used to essentially stage a revolution in Egypt?
Yeah, I mean, the Arab Spring, these revolutions that we're seeing all throughout the Middle East have been heavily fueled by social media. This is Facebook, this is Twitter, this is all of the social media outlets.
And for such proud proponents of free speech, they're very quick to alienate people that they disagree with.
It always bothers me when a group of people are assigned to be the arbiters of what is acceptable speech. Mm-hmm. Because people have agendas. Everyone has an agenda.
We have an agenda.
We have agendas, of course we do. I mean, our agenda is squashing out authoritarianism, but of course we think that's good, but there are people who
I mean, they in the same vein, they could say our agenda is squashing
bullying. I mean,
they
think, and I agree with putting an end to bullying, but anyway, back to what I was saying, people always have agendas, and agendas change. And so, sure, maybe you have a group of people right now who you think are really gonna cut down on bullying or whatever, but the panel's gonna change. And who's to say that these people are always correct? You say, oh well, I think that's wrong, so it has to be changed. You have to take it down. That cannot be put into the public sphere.
Can't. And so it is for these reasons that we believe that this is why that Twitter has seen such a decline in their success, in their membership. And, I mean, the numbers don't lie. They're declining. The reasons behind that decline can be attributed to many different things. The fact that they lost half of their senior staff is very strange. That's so many of their, leadership has just quit. Mm-hmm. But this is why we think that Twitter is declining. Yeah. Because Twitter is actively engaging in very authoritarian policies that are silencing a large amount of people, including myself. As described in a previous video, I have been shadow banned. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah,
Twitter is a microcosm for the nation of Sweden.
Yeah. I thought that was Tumblr.
Well, no, Sweden is... If Tumblr was a nation, it would be Sweden. But I think the decline of Twitter is a microcosm
Oh,
of the
yeah.
decline of Sweden.
Yeah, I think we need to do.
We need to do an episode on Sweden.
Because small tangent.
It's bad.
Yeah, Sweden's gonna be a third world country in a few years, like 15 years.
According to one report.
Well,
yes.
according to a UN report.
Sweden is well on its way to becoming a third world nation.
That's scary. That's very scary.
But yeah, that's for a whole nother topic for a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun one though.
It will be fun.
It'll also be depressing and slightly terrifying. But it'll be fun.
So if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like if you agreed, dislike if you don't agree. If you don't agree, we would love to hear your opinions in the comments.
Yeah, go ahead, guys. I mean, and, if you have other criticisms, we're brand new at this, and we know our technique isn't quite refined. If you guys have suggestions on how to improve the show, go ahead and let us know. We're brand new at this. We're still working it out. We know we have shortcomings.
Yeah. We've gotten some dislikes on our other videos. It's been about half and half, leaning a little bit more towards the negativity side. But no one's really offered any criticism towards us.
No, so yeah, if you guys see something that's wrong, go ahead and point it out.
Yeah,
Please.
we're open to criticism.
We don't think criticism is harassment.
You won't see the comments section or the like dislike bar removed on our videos like
Anita's.
Yeah, like Anita Sarkeesian, who thinks criticism is harassment. Anyway, we've gone on long enough, I think.
I think we have.
So thank you everyone for joining us tonight. I'm Lexington.
I'm Concord.
Signing out.
Godspeed.